Welcome to Spectrum Sanctorum's 1 week later, where we're rocking a week later, right after the release of a mighty movie or an awesome show that wrapped up. And I am going to be your host this week, the one and only Joe Dove. That's me. That's me. Thank you for joining us. And we have two special guests this week. We've got, to my right, White Jason, as opposed to Black Adam. We got White Jason, just so we're clear.
So we're clear.
Yeah.
In case you're listening to it, not watching it.
Exactly. And joining us all the way from Eternia, Billy Batson. Well, thank you for joining us, Billy. We're so glad that you could do that. Take time out of saving the world to join us. How you doing, Billy?
Good. Just trying to.
I got a lot of questions about where you were.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But go ahead, Billy. What'd you say?
Just avoiding. I don't want to change for this.
Okay.
The words.
Don't say the word. Don't say the word, man. We're gonna get into Black Adam, and that is the latest Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson film. Yes, Black Adam. And right now, we're gonna jump right into the synopsis. That's right. That's cool stuff, man. Nearly 5,000 years after he was bestowed with the almighty powers of the Egyptian gods and imprisoned just as quickly, Black Adam is freed from his earthly tomb, ready to unleash his unique form of justice on the modern world. Well, let's see. I know I'm going to die in a hill tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Just be prepared. I'm curious to see what you guys thought of the film. So we're going to get first into, before we go any further, the cast. As I mentioned, it's Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, but we also had quite a stellar cast, including Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate, Addis Hodge as Hawkman, Noah Centineo as Atom Smasher, Quintessa Swindell as Cyclone, and a various slew of other wonderful actors that some are making their debut on film, like the young man of this movie. It was pretty cool to see a different part of the world. So before I get into that, let's go with what worked. So we'll start off with White Jason. What do you think worked? What worked for you anyway?
One thing that I was concerned about when I talk about what worked, and you know what? Just to let the cat out of the bag, so everyone knows how I feel, I'm going to describe my overall feelings for this film the same way my wife would explain our sex life.
Oh, this is going to be interesting.
Okay. So in saying that, what worked for me was The Rock. Like, he was the one thing I was worried about, that I would go, I'm just going to be watching The Rock the whole time. And there was an element of that, but I thought he did the best that he could with the skills he had to, sell Black Adam.
Mm-hmm.
So I did like that very much. I did like Dr. Fate, although
awesome.
It's a shame the fate of Dr. Fate. I would like to see more of him.
Yeah.
We'll
get another version.
Yeah, I do find the action scenes I thought were well executed. I thought the intro of Black Adam was a great scene.
Yeah,
really establishing the type of threat he was. Yeah. I mean, I think what worked too. It was a traditional kind of, like, they just got into the movie. It wasn't like a traditional origin story in many ways. Though it did steal a lot of elements from other films, which I'll get into. Yeah. But it certainly, I mean, the pacing wasn't too bad. Yeah. That's probably the best I could say about it at this
point. Okay. Billy Batson, what did you think? What worked for you?
The thing I thought was interesting about this movie is they have been trying to make this since 2007, and it looks like the script basically kind of stayed there. But and if this thing had been made in 2008, when they originally wanted to make this film, this would have been one of the most amazing superhero films that was made up until that point.
Interesting.
Because if it was competing at the time where it was a pre-Iron Man world, this would have been one of, and considering it was like before Man of Steel, this would have been like one of DC's like signature hits. But I feel like it does kind of get a little bit stuck in the late 90s, early 2000s. And I actually kind of like that. And I also like a lot of the actors were mostly people from television and small like character actors.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I know that person. I've never seen them on the big screen before. That's awesome.
Yeah. For me, what worked, the fact that we've got to see a different aspect of another part of the world that's normally completely villainous in the last 20, 25 years in pop culture. The fictitious land, I think, was akin to Iraq, and the United States and NATO has had some issues with that country. And I think it was nice to have another side of the coin. I really liked the adventure, so to speak, on the film. And though it was an adventure film, sort of like Aquaman, it didn't really go all over the globe like Aquaman did. It kind of stayed within the walls of the Black Adam town that he was in, that he kind of controlled. I did like seeing Amanda Waller. I did like I felt that really worked, that they had to build a team. It was interesting that they sent the JSA, but it baffled me that they didn't use the Shazam family. And I think
we'll get into that.
I think Jason and I had to spoke about that off camera. And what else worked for me was the amount of storytelling that they did in the past and in the present without being too hokey. Because you do a great job of it in Highlander, and then sometimes in modern storytelling it's hard to go back and forth between millennias, and I think they did pretty good, because technically Black Adam's older than Jesus, because he's from 5,000 years ago. That's before Christ, because we're only 2022. So we've got a Jesus level threat here, so they had to send in the big guns. And I really enjoyed some of the characters that they pulled to bring in the JSA. So those are the things that worked. Now, let us see the flip side of that coin. And what didn't work? So I have a feeling that Jason's going to say the most about what didn't work. So I'm going to go with Billy on that, and then we'll come back. Yeah. I think he must have said the magic word, because he's disappeared.
There we
go. I disappeared. Oh.
There you go. You're good.
Okay. Well, I thought occasionally some of the CGI looked a little wonky. There was a few times where they turned into Rubber Man.
Yeah, especially at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they did occasionally overdo the slow motion.
I feel like that's a big problem.
But that's DC's like signature thing.
Yeah.
We're breaking up with Billy, aren't we?
Yeah, it's slow motion, all right.
Yeah. But I actually did like the lightning effects and the particle effects, though.
Okay.
But yeah, it was like, I really thought that they also could have made the bad guys a little bit more fleshed out.
Yeah.
I was like,
that was going to be,
especially when it got to the point where, like, at the very end, instead of the mercenaries that were running the village, they fight zombies.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's what. Look at somebody's face. He's like, "Yeah, that's totally right."
Yeah, it's like
stupid.
Yeah, because nothing about the mercenaries. Nobody stops the mercenaries. They stop zombies.
Yeah, that was. Yeah,
because they wanted people to be okay with them watching them die.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
After you watch an entire movie where The Rock kills a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Yes, the humans can't kill. Only Black Adam can kill.
Oh.
Yes.
What didn't work for me was the story that was and this is brought up in the comments, and I'll get into guys are going to get your comments in pretty soon, so don't worry. It's good to see you, Prestige Media Group, which is our friend KB Games. Of course, my ma, she's here. Space Mom is also here in the comments, and we'll get to that very shortly. But what didn't work for me, like Billy said, the bad guy was not fleshed out. It was like, all right, we're going for this crown, and it's the most important thing because we don't want evil to be unleashed. But how is it going to be unleashed? I don't know. But we can't have the crown getting out because it'll be unleashed. And I was like, all right, I guess. And then they tried this twist where it was like, oh yeah, so this guy is like the great grandson of the king that Black Adam had a beef with. So he's the reason why we can't have that crown go on him at the very last like 10 minutes of the movie. So it was like, that's a weird way to build up. Like, I know there was beef between the king and Shazam, Black Adam in this instance, but you know, there should have been more build up. And you know, and the kid got super annoying at the end. I spoke with your buddy Rick about it, and he was like, the more the movie went on, the more I wanted to punch that kid. So I mean, I totally agree with Rick on that one. He was super annoying, and I saw what they were trying to do. They were trying to capture that same magic that they got in Shazam that worked really well. But the actor in that one has been in a few films and has some more credits under his belt, whereas this kid is fresh off of the scene, probably just got his acting card, his SAG card.
Yeah, he's brand new.
He's brand new. And, you know, it's tough for your first time out. He didn't do horrible, but as time went on, it was just like, all right, dude, get him off.
So you weren't crazy about Discount John Connor.
I was not crazy about Discount John Connor.
I like that.
All right, we're gonna let the floodgates open. Go ahead, Jason. Let's hear it.
Look, where do I start from? Yes, we'll start with the kid. You talk about the kid. The reason that worked in Shazam was a tonal shift. You had a very comedic back and forward. This kid was just that annoying, as you said, Billy, John Connor, wish version of John Connor, I would call it. And yeah, it's like it was horribly executed from that aspect, because you're trying to make Black Adam a villain, which you established quite well with that scene where he fries that guard, basically turns him into bones.
Yeah.
But you immediately remove the threat from him, because you got a kid who he knows what he's really like. He's a good guy, and inherently there's a problem you're dealing with. Right. And it's a very interesting time overall, because this film and the next film coming up very soon are both dealing with some of the biggest anti-heroes in comic books. And I'm obviously talking about Black Adam. I'm talking about Namor. So it's a very interesting time that we're tackling these type of characters. And I think with Black Adam, especially in this film, what you did is you condensed what should have been spread across multiple films, and you've condensed it into one film in his character. He should have been a villain outright. In other words, Black Adam, this film we should have seen Black Adam in other films.
Shazam 2. I would have done Shazam 2.
And that's the big mind-blowing, I could not get over my head, and I'll get into the Justice Society in a minute, but the fact that you have Black Adam, who come born from the same space wizards, or whatever universe wizards they are, and at no point do you think, there's a guy over in the US, he's got the same powers. But the thing is, there's like 6 of them now. So why don't we just get the 6 of them to battle Black Adam, because they're all matched strength-wise, correct? And they probably work better as a cohesive team. And you don't mention it at all. That is baffling. Especially for the casual viewer. I mean, if the casual viewer out there is not a comic book, they're not going to be as tolerant. They're going to go, hang on, I saw that Shazam film, and he says the same thing, Shazam. Where's that guy? So that made no sense. The Justice Society, really a big letdown. You know who was more annoying than the kid? Goddamn Atom Smasher.
Oh, wow, eating his chicken.
He's his character thing, all right? So we've got a mix of the Flash. We'll take 30% of Flash, 30% of Deadpool, 30% of whatever generic superhero.
That you mentioned that when we get into the
I got the Ezra Miller vibe.
And here's his character tick. Here's his big defining character quirk. He's always hungry. Oh shit, we've never seen that before. Who does that? Like, it was so lazy, and he was annoying. And the other chick, Cyclone, completely forgettable. Didn't even care about her.
Wait, hold on. She spun, okay?
Yeah, she spun. She spun clouds. Like,
in clouds.
That's it. But can you remember any particular scene that character was in that you went, that was cool? Nothing. She brought nothing to the table. And my big problem also is with Hawkman. Love the character design. Thought he looked good. Love his leadership strength. I just couldn't get over how he was just pissed off from the get-go. Dude, you're a leader of the Justice Society, all right? You, more than anyone, have to get along with everyone else.
Yeah.
But you are immediately pissed off, and there's a grudge, and you guys can't work it out. And apparently that's the strong narrative with these two characters. And I'm like, screw that. It's lazy and it's uninteresting. And then you talk about Katark. Is it called Kandark? Kandark.
Yeah, the town. Yeah.
You know what? I haven't seen CG look that good since Geonosis from Attack of the Clones.
Oh,
it never once did this film look like it was the real world.
No.
It constantly it either looked like CGI or it
Or a
looked
set.
like a stage.
Yeah. Like a set. Yeah.
And that was a big problem for me as well. So that was, to me, it was a very middling film. And you're right, though, Billy. I would agree with you. If this film was made 15 years ago, would have been the epic. But it wasn't. It was made in 2022. And they just derived ideas from... There was nothing in this film that we have not seen before from another film in the last 15 years. And that's extremely disappointing.
Yeah.
You know, really, I would have rather them waited, got Henry Cavill on board completely, and we just went to town at it. That's the movie it should have been. It should have been a mixture of Superman, Shazam, and Black Adam. That's what the film should have been.
So you mentioned, and I don't want to diverge because I know we have a lot of segments, but
yeah, sorry.
No, don't be sorry. The whole point of this is I wanted to hear what you had to think of.
I was really forgiving my frustration.
Yeah, I wanted you to let it out. One of the things that they were trying to do, you mentioned about world building, like they should have built this up, and they're condensing a lot into one film.
Well, his character turn should have been its own film later down the track.
Right. Right. So
it would have been more poignant, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. Because like one of the things that I noticed is in the Shazam movie, because I watched it again before I saw this, was right in the beginning of the movie, they said, oh, we had another champion. We chose him, but he ended up being a douche and we had to lock him away. And it was, they even like had the CGI of The Rock in the hood and everything. So I was like, oh shit. Yeah, they did have that. So maybe maybe they'll do something where the Shazam will show up. And then when I watched this movie and there was no Shazam, I was like, wait a minute.
You know what it feels like?
You know who's in the Justice Society? Shazam.
Yeah.
He's a member of the Justice Society. It's like, wait a minute.
I really feel like this was a Rock ego thing.
It could be.
Like, no.
It was.
I need to be my own, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We won't lessen ourselves with Shazam. It's like Shazam's one of the best DC movies they made in the last.
Yeah, exactly. Way better than the Snyderverse, if you ask me.
Oh, yeah. But
the Snyder Cut or whatever, yeah.
The Rock was one of the executive producers of this movie.
Right.
Yeah, so
I think
he didn't do what's wrong. He didn't do what's right for the DCU. He did what's right for his character to make as much impact.
Yeah.
And, you can't have it both ways.
Yeah.
You're talking about this is the new dawn for the DCU. Well, how is it? Because you've just basically co-opted other ideas. How you allowed, or any executive allowed, these characters to make up the Justice Society is beyond me. Hawk and Dr. Fate, big tick, yes. But that was the best that you wanted to do, was Atom Smasher, who is basically Ant-Man, Giant Man. If they've just gone, oh, everyone loved that airport scene in Civil War, we'll do it in a city. Just nothing felt fresh. Nothing felt original.
Yeah.
And it was extremely frustrating that. Although The Rock himself
was really good in it.
He was giving it his all.
Yeah.
But also The Rock has that other problem of being 20 years we've watched him be a hero.
Right.
So, for us to buy you as a villain, we need more time with you as a villain. And we didn't get that.
Yeah,
because, we set up the emotionality. He's just like he's been screwed over. All right. So he's dealing with some stuff.
Yeah,
but essentially, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
No, man, Black Adam should have been like, mate, this is terrifying. If you look at the trailers for Black Panther, Namor looks threatening as hell, and there is no indication of him being anything less than a villain.
Right. That's right.
Yeah. Anyway, rant over.
I mean, the one thing I will give them is they did a great job with the battle scenes between him and Hawkman. That was pretty cool.
I will say the fight scenes were
between them
pretty good.
Yeah.
But not like mind-blowing. But they were good. They were serviceable.
They were good. They were serviceable. And once we did get to Savak, I thought that was a cool villain. I just don't think the CGI, because we're in the what didn't work. That CGI looked bad. That looked like PlayStation 3.
It almost looked as bad as Ares from the Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
But the whole idea of Sabak works for me, and the conceit of that works for me.
It's just the build-up, didn't it?
It's just like no real setup. It's just like we better get a big action scene and beat the bad guy really quickly.
Yeah.
Like everything was kind of just aggressively rushed where you could have, you spent so much time in this film finding out, is he or isn't he on their side?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, 45 minutes before we get to the scene of the kitchen.
Right.
He shoots his brother.
Right.
Like you could have really dealt with all of that in the opening scene when he pushed the guy over the cliff.
Yep.
That should have been the discovery straight away. He's a bad guy.
He's a bad guy, and here's the reason.
You could have seen the rise of Sabak earlier on and have him have a constant threat.
Right.
But no, we end up having, Ray Harryhausen / Army of Darkness kind of ending with these almost comical, the worst fighting zombies in creation, because anybody with a bat that was living there could kill him.
Yep.
Like they weren't a threat.
Just pull his head off.
Everybody, as soon as they swung something, they killed him.
Yeah.
Like, it was like the Jedi fighting the droids.
Yep.
Like it was
there's no
cutting
threat.
through butter.
Yeah. All right.
I gotta take a pew. I gotta relax.
All right. Let's get into the reception. I want to once again say big thanks to Jason for making all these. These are always cool. I just want to make sure people know that you're the brain behind this.
When these numbers play, you can talk over them too. You don't have to.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you can do your whole. And that's time for the cast. And then
now I know. All right. So the reception. Here we go. The critics hated it, but 5,000 verified ratings of positive in the 90s percentile. So we have a big
stunning to me.
Huge skew. Huge skew.
And who is that audience? I want to know these people.
There's more audience members.
This is great.
Yeah, go ahead.
I said this audience, these are the same people that used to watch him on the WWE. These are the same people who used to watch him back in the day in Scorpion King.
And Fast and the Furious.
They went and saw Skyscraper.
Skyscraper.
Wow. Actually, Skyscraper wasn't terrible. It was.
Are you sure about that? Die Hard in an earthquake. Glitching Billy. We got to give Billy a better internet connection.
Yeah, we got to sort him out. Get him on some sort of satellite. That new Telstra Starlink. Elon Musk Starlink thing.
Yeah.
We've lost
him. Okay, I see you guys, but did you guys see me?
Yeah, now we
do. You were kind of like in
you
stasis.
Were glitching. Yeah.
Sabak was trying to stop your transmission.
Well, now we
they
see
were trying. They were trying to take me away, put me in the lake and stuff. But yeah, this was The Rock. It's funny, like even as when he was in the WWE, he started out as a bad guy. People remembered him with a thing called The Nation, where people would chant "Rocky sucks" back in the day because like he was a heel.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't become like the good guy until like years later with like Stone Cold Steve Austin and stuff like that during the
Attitude Era. He started out as a good guy, but he never got over.
Oh yeah, but he was so unpopular that people started chanting and
against him.
Yeah, as I just said, like people were chanting "Rocky sucks, Rocky sucks." Then he joined the Nation, and he was like a different thing.
Well, I'm going to go on a limb and say Jason wasn't really much of a WWE guy, right?
No,
Yeah, that's what I figured. You just the blank look like
The blank kind of look. Yeah, I don't know much about it. You know?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
appreciate for what it is. So I'm not someone who judges it harshly. I understand
Mhm.
it's to me, it's great performance, and the
Oh yeah, it's
physicality.
like watching. If you go to
Just how
Universal
much shit
Studios,
can I be a fan of?
Right. You gotta
There's only so much time in the day to be a fan of stuff. So
right.
but I did know that he started out as a villain.
Right.
For the general audience, though, you are right. I believe is that he's built up such a fan base that he's one of the very few actors remaining today that people will just go because he's in it. It was a lot more common in the 80s when people would go to the movies based on who was in it. Not so much anymore, but Rock is definitely one of them. People will go to see what The Rock.
Yeah.
But not like really. This got a 90% audience rating.
Yeah.
Like, I'm baffled by it. But there again, I'm on the critic side with this one. I just thought this was such a missed opportunity.
Mhm.
The only thing that saves it for me, honestly, is that cameo.
The cameo
of the future.
Right.
That is the only thing. Yeah.
Especially with the new leadership at DC. We've got James Gunn at
Which
the
is
helm.
huge. James Gunn and Peter Safran. Now running Warner Brothers, DC over at Warner Brothers. Amazing stuff.
Here we go. I think this is going to be the big turn. This is it. They tagged in Superman. The Rock reached out. He was like,
we need stability because isn't this version supposed to be the new rebirth? And now,
not yet.
We won't
this is
see
the last of the
effects of James Gunn and Peter Safran for 2 years because they'll have to develop them stuff and all that. Yeah. They didn't make this film. They're not in control of this. And they're certainly not in control of The Flash or, at the sequel to Aquaman. And they got none of that. So,
right.
It's going to be a while before we see the change for sure. Yeah. But, people love it. And it means, here's the thing. I want this movie to make money, though, because I want to see more of the character.
Right.
It's not that I don't want to see anything of the character. I do. I just, I definitely don't think this film is
a world
maybe is as important as big as The Rock likes to make it out to be.
Mm-hmm. All right. Go ahead.
No. I'm good.
All right. Well, let's. Themes of the film. I mean, you have your gray here. Revenge, basically, it's a revenge film. They had tried a nice twist to have his son, like you thought the way the setup was that his son was Shazam, and he just grew up to look like The Rock.
I didn't see that coming.
I didn't. Yeah,
I did slap myself in the head going, "You're an idiot, Jason. You should have seen that coming." But I didn't. And,
that was a nice
Rick
twist.
said, and he's not here to defend himself because I call bullshit, Rick. Rick goes, "Oh, no. I saw him as The Rock in the beginning of the film."
Oh, they did spoil that in the trailer.
They spoiled that in the trailer.
Yeah, they show The Rock cradling the dead son in the trailer. So some people actually did see that in one of the trailers.
Okay.
Somebody's got a really good pause button somewhere because I never saw that.
Yeah.
The other theme is redemption because he realized, okay, I was kind of shitty, and I wanted to blow up the whole place because I got angry, and so I my bad. I'll go in the little chamber.
Well, his fixation with that statue played out. I thought that was great because he kept looking at that and he was fixated by it.
Yeah.
And, for most of the film, we thought he was fixated at him being perceived as a god, but no, he was fixated on it because it was the statue of his son.
Yeah, which I thought was really
That was good.
Yeah.
That was good.
See, now you're going to increase your rating now? So have I convinced you?
No, it's still a piece of shit. It's not a piece of shit.
This was a stinker.
Not a piece of shit.
Yeah.
It's meh. It's okay.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I mean,
it's got rewatchability factor. I'll give it that.
Oh yeah, I bet you enjoy it the next time you see it.
Maybe.
You might.
Maybe. So,
Billy, any themes that we missed that you want to mention?
Well, I thought that there was a little bit of the team building theme and, like the collaboration.
Yeah.
You saw, I know like basically between Hawkman and Dr. Fate, more so than anyone else on the team.
Mm-hmm.
But pretty much it was a trio more so than a team.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
100%. You know what? Look, I think we'd be remiss not all of us to talk about what we thought about Dr. Fate. Pierce Bronson
Was great.
yes,
playing the second superhero of his career, because I do consider James Bond a superhero.
Yeah, fair.
It's a great choice, but
Yeah.
what a waste.
Well, here's the thing about
waste because he's gone. He's gone.
Here's the thing about Dr. Fate. So Dr. Fate, his helmet chooses whom it wants to wield it. So, you know, he's gotten older in years, and this is in a comic theme too. You know, the original Dr. Fate got old, so it chose somebody else to be Dr. Fate, and then that person takes on the mantle. So maybe we can get Daniel Craig in the next one. That'll be fun.
No, man, let's go right back. We'll dig up Roger Moore and Timothy Dalton.
Yeah. Well, Timothy Dalton's still alive, so he could do it. He could do it. Yeah.
You know, essentially though, with Dr. Fate, I'm disappointed they basically showed him like Doctor Strange in this movie, but Dr. Fate in the comic books is like
powerful.
a master at jiu-jitsu. Like, he can kick ass.
Yeah.
Like, it would have been nice to see some of that mix of his skills being utilized, because you know, that thing, the mirror dimension. Do we not get basic, like, as an audience member, you would go, oh, well, that just looks like the mirror dimensions.
Yeah.
It felt very much like they were trying to go, he's like Doctor Strange, everyone. Check him out. But he's actually got some real cool, unique shit about himself that I don't think they did that well to portray him. I would love to see Pierce Bronson return as a character and develop that character further, because I think
the last Dr.
DC's got to do it.
The last Dr. Fate spirit is in the helm, and when it chooses the next person, he kind of guides him in the beginning, and then it fades away.
Yeah.
So that would
and
be
when
kinda
you're
good.
saying that, well, they'll just hire a new actor to play that.
Yeah.
And that'll be the
next
DC
Dr. Fate.
Dr.
but
Fate.
who knows?
Yeah,
Pierce
I
Brosnan
can go
might
with
come
that.
back as a Jarvis kind of thing, like the voice.
Yeah,
in the
that's
head.
what usually happens. Yeah. All right. Well, let's go to the next section. In the news, so there's something that caught my eye.
Yeah.
That I wanted to bring up, and you touched on it in your rant, Jason. So
my psychotic
these bastards made a subpar film.
They owe me nothing.
Yeah. I mean, we got the twirl. She makes twirls, you know. Anyway, so here it is. The costume design of Atom Smasher looked too much like Deadpool, and a lot of people harped on that. This was actually from Variety. They were really on it. So I'm like, wow, Variety jumped on that.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
Really, that's
crazy.
Way too close.
It wasn't just close in look and design, because even look his eye patches.
Yeah.
Kind of almost slightly similar shape. It's the fact that you then tried to make him like the character in some way.
Right.
And number one, he's nowhere near as funny as Ryan Reynolds.
No, not at all.
And then, you know what I mean? Then you're doubling down, and like, I think the Flash similarities were highly offensive as a character.
Yeah.
I would say, what are you doing? You have that type of character in the DC with the Flash. Why are you trying to make this young, quirky, hip kid? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And what does he really do? He just grows really big and steps on things.
Well, no, he can manipulate atoms, which is why he's the Atom Smasher. And there's a point where he even tests his strength with Black Adam.
What did we see in the movie for him to smash atoms?
Nothing.
I'm missing something here.
No, but if you
he
remember,
just got big, right?
Yeah, in this particular instance, he just got big. But
that's right. So what would the audience know? If you're not into comic books, you don't know that.
Right.
You're just going, oh, it's Ant-Man Light.
Yeah, yeah. But it was a nice cameo by Henry Winkler to be his uncle.
Oh yeah, and that's
to be the
easy other thing too.
In this. I would have loved to see like the all man like super team.
Yeah. I think it's great that you have Henry Winkler, but again, you need to show the audience what he was like. This should have been a flashback scene of Henry Winkler as Atom Smasher. Because otherwise, most of the audience is thinking, oh shit, his dad's the Fonz, or his dad's the lawyer from Arrested Development.
Yeah.
You know, oh, he's in that Barry show. Like, there's no context of that relationship, you know. Just no offense to Henry Winkler. He ain't that big enough star to go, holy crap, it's Henry Winkler, kid.
Yeah, the Fonz.
Yeah, that I think was also what a waste of a cameo.
Yeah, that was a rough one. But as you're pointing to Dr. Fate, I also wanted to bring up an image that kind of really solidifies the Doctor Strange, Dr. Fate thing.
Mm.
He's even doing the hand thing. You know,
And
like
we
that's
all
the
know
same.
the similarities, don't we?
Yeah.
We get it.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Yeah,
I will
they
say,
were-
though, can I do say the suit?
yeah,
I
it looked
give a thumbs up to the
dope.
suit.
Even
Yeah.
when he didn't have the helmet on, it looked cool.
Yeah. That helmet design was really good too.
Yeah, they did a
really
great job. They did a great
I
job.
thought, yeah, it to me was very. His costume, actually, the costume design in this, was
all of them were great. Even
all
Black
of
Adam.
them were great. You know,
Adam
even
Smasher
though-
when he got huge.
even though he looks too familiar to characters, take him out of the equation. Hawkman's design, I thought, was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really felt his wings moved naturally with his body and
Yeah.
with the action without ever being distracting. And man, I love that. What is that thing called? It's a mace, right?
Yeah, it's a mace.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a mace. Yeah.
But the abilities of that mace were pretty
Yeah,
cool.
it spins
spinning
and-
around.
yeah,
and
it was cool.
electrifies.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, and I dug the suit very much for that.
They did a great job with all of that. So, hopefully
Yeah.
it'll be in some future projects because I think that did work well.
Get the costume designer.
Yeah, like make sure he
Damn
stays.
it.
Yeah. So we have quite a bit of comments in the comments section.
Let's go from.
Let's go through them. All right. So we're going to go all the way back up. KB Games, Prestige Media Group, our good friend that's helping us with a future Captain's Quadrant piece.
Yes.
Yeah, he was epic as Dr. Fate. We're talking
Sorry,
about
I've been
Pierce Brosnan.
lazy getting back to you, Kevin.
It's all right.
He was epic in Dr. Fate. Absolutely.
Yeah, he was. I don't want to hear about Jay. That's back to
Yeah,
your joke
that's what
earlier.
my wife says too.
Mine too. The helmet was really cool. It carries spools of the former wearers. Yeah, he gets information
Oh,
from
the
like I was saying.
souls of former
Right.
wearers. Yeah.
So Pierce Brosnan
Yeah.
can be like, "Hey, buddy, you know what you got to do?" You know,
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Souls even, which is what I mentioned.
Souls
to
even.
you.
Yeah.
And no, Jason's souls are not being carried over. Jason's
No,
right here
no,
with us.
no. Ooh, yeah. I agree. I
Yeah.
think she's talking about my sex life again.
Yeah, here we go. For somebody that doesn't want to talk about it, she sure is talking about it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna skip a few. And this is an interesting point. I think the script was done before Shazam.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, which makes
And
sense.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't have locked it down before Shazam. I mean, there's no way they have the script. That the idea and the concept would have been there, but they've changed that clearly in the last couple of years. They've definitely gone for a big rewrite. I'd like to read the original.
Yeah.
I think it's a massive, massive error of this film not to have had Shazam in this film or addressed that. That already exists. There's 6 Shazams working together as a team.
Yeah.
What's
yeah.
also
And
weird is
Yeah.
God, what's
this
also
actually-
weird. Mhm.
the original script for this predated Man of Steel, so that would have actually been Brandon Routh's Superman if they had when they originally wrote this. So
Wow.
Yeah,
that would have
Jeez.
been like a much different thing. And you see, like Henry Cavill as Superman had like the hair part and the brighter costume.
Yeah.
It was not quite the regular Superman. It's not the DCEU one, but it's not the other one.
Yeah.
No, the cameo we got of Henry Cavill, that was the more brighter suit, wasn't it? That was the more positive.
That was the what do you call it suit? The they did it Injustice. Thank you. Yeah, that was the Injustice because it had the clips here and then it connected. I think so. I don't have the
thought
clip.
it was more traditional. Sorry, I was going to say more like the Superman Returns outfit. It felt. It had a bit more of that, but it was certainly, I think, the same look as he's had, but like he cleaned it. It looked like it went to the dry cleaner. It actually looked clean because the other, like the Snyder ones, always felt a bit muted. The colors.
Well, Snyder always puts that screen film. I can't find the picture. I was gonna like throw it up. But
Sony's
Snyder always
actually
puts that
released
dark.
a couple of Snyders with
Yeah.
edition.
Well, thanks for.
What's he
joining
talking
us
about? That's canon. What does that mean?
That's canon. In other words, him being anti-hero.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's important in being an anti-hero. But I wanted to see more of the anti and less of the hero.
Right. He's an anti-hero like Venom.
But I would say, and you are correct, you are right, but you're also thinking from a perspective from comic books. And
Right.
if you think of comic books, you can read a whole series and you get that character arc over many stories.
Right.
So he starts off as a villain in that series of comic books. And by the end of that series, he's a hero. If I was to parlay that into film, that's like making the first comic book issue of a series. We get all that in one.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to see more villain, less hero, more the change in the second or third film.
Right.
Like if you wanted to be really bold, that was the way you were going to do it. You'd almost treat him like a Godzilla, like a King Kong, like a monster who, in a way, Black Adam at the end of the film, they kind of come to an understanding and he pisses off, but they ain't friends. He's still a massive threat.
Right.
And I just felt, family, why did we need the mother and the son?
Yeah.
They are brought in specifically for one plot purpose, and that is to humanize Black Adam.
Yeah, the human element. Yeah, exactly.
And I didn't think the film needed it. I think it's a disservice to the film.
Wow. My mom's got a funny comment. Wow, this movie had former wrestler versus James Bond and some random kid. It's a front runner for the Oscar awards.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe
No. So they said you haven't read the comics, and then he can take out Superman. So I'm gonna pause you on that.
Go back. What he said. I've never read Dr. Fate's comics.
Right.
Jason's never. No, I haven't.
Yeah.
But I do know certain elements of Dr. Fate. But
right.
Yeah.
So he can take out Superman. Yes. Dr. Fate can take out Superman because of the magic abilities. So magic is a vulnerability, but it's not a total weakness. It's not like kryptonite that's going to make him weak to the point where he can be a pushover.
Based upon that logic, if he could take out Superman, then therefore he could take out Black Adam. So...
Right. Well, Black Adam's weakness is magic.
Piss poor job in the movie.
Black Adam could take out Superman because there's been times
magic.
where,
yeah,
because Captain Marvel and Black Adam are both magic-based heroes.
Yeah,
and I realized that some of the audience might not realize who I meant when I said that, but Shazam was originally Captain Marvel.
Yes,
from Fawcett Comics, but
they forgot to renew they forgot to renew the trademark. Marvel swooped in and said, "Gotcha, bitch."
Yeah.
And then my mother wants to know: did he walk like an Egyptian?
He should have.
They should have.
Jimmy's opportunity not to have that song
for this one. Last time he played an Egyptian, it didn't go so well. We all remember the memes.
Yeah. It didn't do well at all. And then Robert Mara can't wait for Fury of the Gods.
I agree with you, Robert. That is anticipated. Like, I'm a big fan of Shazam, the original Shazam film. I think that was a delightful film, and a film that the first film that showed that, hey, it doesn't all have to be dark and serious in the DCU. I can't wait for the sequel.
Yeah.
Helen Mirren is the villain. Bring it on. Like, yeah.
DC got tired of Marvel making all the money and then pandered to the audience.
Bingo.
Yeah.
You're actually hitting onto one of the real things behind this film.
Yeah.
Because, Rock is proven box office gold. So he has got that power and sway, and he certainly has used it for this.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so here we go. So look, this wasn't a masterpiece. This isn't going to be the film that makes you go, you know what? The future's looking really, really bright for DC. This isn't the film that's going to make you go, oh, wow, you know what? This is the new standard for comic book films. It's not going to do that. But it is going to make you say, well, there's a lot of junk out there. And then there's a lot of decent things. And somewhere in the middle lies this film. It's not going to make you think, okay, the world should have been passed to Dwayne Johnson and he should control the DCU. No, I think that the fact that they realize, okay, probably from previews and screen reviewers, that it's another DC movie, kind of has a lot of misses, and there's some fine hits and some fine sequences that work pretty well. But that makes me give hope because they did introduce Superman again, and The Rock constantly going up to Henry Cavill. Hey, buddy, you busy? We should do that cameo in my movie. Hey, buddy. Hey. I also think that with the passing of the torch, now that Hamada's out of DC and James Gunn is in, I think we're in good hands. And I think that they could take this. It's not a complete unsalvageable movie like,
no, they introduced, I think, 3 characters quite well.
Yeah.
And that is Black Adam, And I do
Fate?
think Dr. Fate, and I do think Hawkman. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not happy with the way he played the character. I just think, pull back on the anger, buddy. You're supposed to be a leader of the Justice Society. But I like him. But I do like him.
Yeah. So I think they have a good chance to mold this into something really, really great. What are your final glances at the film, Billy? And then we'll go to Jason because your internet's working. So we're going to get it in. Go.
Okay. Well, I think if they do like more stuff with Hawkman and they introduce Green Arrow, you're going to see a lot more of an angrier Hawkman than even this one.
Yeah, that's true.
Because
the comics
yeah. But this movie, I didn't think it was terrible. It wasn't great. It was better than the Fantastic Four.
That's not hard.
And it was better than Morbius, but it's not like the MCU standard. It's also
it's worse than the worst Marvel film.
Yeah, it's worse than Eternals.
Yes, definitely. Okay, no, actually, I thought the Eternals.
I like Eternals.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Wow. Because I saw the
oh yeah, I'm like really. I like the Eternals because it's a unique character study of a film rather than an action blockbuster.
Right.
I like the themes and ideas in
it. Yeah.
But anyway.
The Eternals, I thought might have been better if they'd made it either Disney Plus series or made it trimmed down some storylines to make it 90 minutes as opposed to
3 hours.
I actually I think your first choice is better. I think it should have been broken down to an event series, like a 6-episode arc, because it warranted that, and you could have really delved into some of the stories from the past, like their journey from the past all the way through.
Right.
Anyway, that's for the Eternal shows. We'll just go back in time 2 years.
Yeah. But as for like
1 year back,
Adam and the Justice Society, the tough thing is I've now seen the Justice Society in multiple iterations. I've seen them on Smallville. I've seen them in Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah,
I've seen them.
Smallville.
No,
that was Supergirl.
Yeah. Can I mention though? I think you brought up the one thing I wanted to bitch and complain about too: the ship. It looked like it was for Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah,
really? Could you have not swapped out the Justice Society with the Legends of Tomorrow and got the same result?
You could have. You really could have, yeah.
Well, some Justice Society was on Legends of Tomorrow, so that's like even worse.
Yeah.
I mean, Hawkman and Hawkgirl were both part of like this one Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah. All right, Jason, your final glance.
Final thoughts. Well, like I've expressed my thoughts throughout this. Unfortunately, we're not having him back on 1 week later.
No, we will. It's good to have. We need different.
Look, the film is.
I can't all agree on that guy's one. I'm like the.
And the new
this one. I'm like okay, the heart, the one that's tracked everything.
If we can only get your internet to work.
Yeah, if we can only get your internet to work. Look, ideally, this film would have been, far more impactful. It wasn't. It felt like a real missed opportunity. It felt rushed in some ways, and it also felt like disingenuous to where I think they're trying to go with the DCU. You know what I mean? I feel like this is The Rock hijacking this concept and making it the way he wants to be is still where the DCU needs to go. Because at the end of the day, that universe exists. As much as they say, the Snyderverse is over, it ain't. They're doubling down. We've got The Flash coming out. We've got Shazam coming out. We've got Peacemaker season 2. We've got Aquaman. We've got a third Wonder Woman coming down the pipeline. The DCU, as we've known it, built by Zack Snyder, is around for a long time. It ain't going nowhere.
Right.
So, I just think, really it's such a way. And you would think they would have made a better effort, far as I'm concerned, to steady the ship.
Yeah.
Because really, people who've now suffered through 10 years of this and suffered could be kind of, how are you going to get people back to a sequel? Because actually, you know what? What do I matter? 90% of the audience love it. So they're going to line up, aren't they?
Yeah, they're coming back. Eat
your garbage, people. I don't care.
We love candy and terrible films and stuff that goes boom. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap it up for this episode of 1 Week Later. Thank you, Jason and Billy Batson, for joining us. White Jason and Billy Batson. Please be sure to come and hang out with us on all our wonderful socials, including TikTok. Follow us. We're part of Trek Talk. You got me as Dis Dungeon, VHS Jace. Jason Roy Gatson and Vulcan
He's
Diver.
not here. And Vulcan Diver.
Yeah, both of
they're
them
not here.
They're not here.
Don't
but-
follow them. Follow us. 'cause we're
Yeah, well,
actually
we need
sorry.
especially not him. He's got 400 million people anyway. Please be sure to subscribe if you are listening to us on the podcast version, because this show does very well, and we really appreciate your listening to us on our wonderful Anchor stream. Please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're going for broke, so make sure you guys come out and hang out with us. And what did you think? Why don't you comment your favorite moment of the movie or what you hated about the movie below? We'd really appreciate it. Until next
if you
time.
could recommend a good therapist for me.
All right. Take care, everybody.